Big Mistakes opens its first episode by immediately setting a tense and uneasy tone, introducing a world where small decisions quickly spiral into consequences that cannot be undone. The story begins with an ordinary environment that feels familiar at first glance, but beneath the surface there is a constant sense that something is about to go wrong. The episode focuses on a central character whose life appears stable on the outside, yet internally they are dealing with pressure, hidden doubts, and unresolved conflicts that slowly start to influence their choices. Early scenes establish the character's daily routine, showing interactions with family, colleagues, or close acquaintances. These interactions are not dramatic at first, but subtle dialogue hints at underlying tension. There are moments where the character is given opportunities to make simple decisions, but each choice carries more weight than it initially appears. The narrative carefully builds the idea that mistakes are not always sudden or obvious, but often begin with small compromises or overlooked details. As the episode progresses, a key event disrupts the character's normal life. This event acts as a trigger, forcing them into a situation where they must respond quickly without having full clarity of the consequences. The pressure intensifies as the character attempts to balance personal priorities with external expectations. The situation begins to expose flaws in judgment as well as the influence of fear, pride, or urgency in shaping decisions. Supporting characters play an important role in amplifying the tension. Some provide advice or warnings that go unheeded, while others unintentionally contribute to the unfolding complications. Conversations between characters often carry double meanings, where what is said is not always aligned with what is truly meant. This creates a layered narrative where trust, miscommunication, and assumption become central themes. Midway through the episode, the consequences of the initial mistake begin to surface. What once seemed like a manageable issue starts to expand into something more complex. The character attempts to correct the situation, but each corrective action introduces new variables. Instead of resolving the problem, these efforts often make things more complicated, demonstrating how one poor decision can cascade into multiple challenges. Tension builds through pacing rather than action alone. The episode uses quiet moments, pauses, and reactions to emphasize the emotional weight of the situation. The character's internal conflict becomes more visible as they struggle to maintain control while circumstances slip further away from their grasp. Doubt begins to replace confidence, and the sense of control gradually diminishes. As the narrative approaches its turning point, the character is faced with a critical choice that could potentially limit the damage or worsen the situation. This moment highlights the central theme of the episode, emphasizing how decisions made under pressure are rarely perfect and often irreversible. The stakes feel personal, even if the situation has broader implications, because the consequences directly affect relationships, stability, or future opportunities. The episode does not resolve the conflict completely. Instead, it leaves the audience with an evolving problem that continues to grow. The final moments show the aftermath of the initial decisions, along with hints that the situation is far from under control. Small details in the closing scene suggest that further complications are on the horizon, setting the stage for subsequent episodes. Throughout the episode, the storytelling focuses on realism and relatability. The mistakes portrayed are not exaggerated for dramatic effect alone, but instead reflect situations where individuals misjudge timing, ignore warnings, or act impulsively. The emotional tone remains grounded, allowing viewers to connect with the character's experience even when the outcomes become increasingly difficult. By the end of the episode, the central idea becomes clear. A single decision, when made without full consideration of its impact, can lead to a chain reaction of unintended consequences. The episode carefully demonstrates how accountability, awareness, and timing all play a role in shaping outcomes. It also shows that attempts to fix a mistake are not always straightforward, especially when multiple factors are already in motion. Episode 1 concludes with a sense of unresolved tension. The character is left navigating a situation that has grown beyond its original scope, while the audience is left anticipating how the next developments will unfold. The foundation is laid for a series that revolves around escalating challenges, difficult choices, and the ongoing effort to manage the fallout of early missteps.